In Japan, there's a fortress nestled in a location that, while not obscure, has managed to remain unscathed for over 700 years. This place withstood the tumult of samurai battles, the aftermath of power struggles, and even modern bombings. The legendary Himeji Castle. Welcome to Japan's indomitable samurai stronghold, the fortress that has truly stood the test of time. Today, we delve into the story of a castle that has survived wars, natural disasters, and even bombings. While kingdoms have risen and crumbled into dust, and cities have turned to ashes, Himeji Castle has stood firm, a silent witness to the grand narrative of Japanese history. To truly grasp the significance of Himeji Castle, we have to take a brief journey into the origins of samurai fortresses and the fall of the samurai era. In ancient Japan, the land was divided among numerous feudal lords, each with lofty ambitions. To secure their power and protect their domains, these lords erected fortresses in their towns, stout defenses against marauding invaders. For instance, in the 14th century, the Mongol Empire attempted to invade Japan. Yet, adverse weather conditions, coupled with the fortifications around Hakata Bay in Fukuoka Prefecture, thwarted the invaders' efforts. This defense, however, yielded no spoils of war, which sowed seeds of discontent among the ruling Hojo family. This resentment provided Emperor Go-Daigo with the pretext to overthrow the Kamakura shogunate in 1333. A series of consequential events followed, leading to Aso, a vassal of the Hojo family, besieging the imperial stronghold at Akasaka and attacking Chihaya Fortress on Mount Kongo. These early fortresses marked the dawn of what would become Japan's iconic castles, utilizing the natural terrain of mountains and interlocking wooden stockades to link towers and gates. This strategic use of geography and architecture would shape the evolution of Japan's castles. Fast forward 200 years to the Warring States period, when Japan was embroiled in constant conflict. Each warlord ruled their territory autonomously, necessitating the construction of defensive fortifications. Thousands of simple palisades and stone embankments sprang up across the land, often perched on mountains with the main citadel occupying the highest point. As we approach the end of the Warring States period in the 1560s and 1570s, a pivotal figure emerged: Oda Nobunaga. He sought to overthrow the ruling shogun, Ashikaga Yoshiaki, and after succeeding, constructed the first modern castle in Azuchi between 1576 and 1579, located 31 miles east of Kyoto. Azuchi Castle was revolutionary. Unlike its predecessors, it was built on a hill, not a mountain, and served as both an economic hub and a defensive fortress. Its massive stone walls provided formidable protection, while the main tower, known as the Tenshu, soared 7 stories high, far surpassing the previous 2 to 3-story structures. No longer were they mere defensive bastions. They became symbols of cultural prosperity and military power, encapsulating the authority of their lords. However, Nobunaga's reign came to a dramatic end when he was betrayed by one of his vassals in 1582, resulting in the castle's fiery destruction. Nobunaga's general, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, continued the mission to unify Japan, ushering in the era of the modern castle. During his rule, castles were constructed throughout Japan, showcasing a striking contrast with his black Tenshu compared to the white castles of the Tokugawa clan. Hideyoshi's era also heralded the destruction of previous mountain fortresses, aimed at preventing rural uprisings. Only the daimyo, the feudal lords, were permitted to maintain a castle as their base of power. When Hideyoshi's rule ended, Tokugawa Ieyasu seized power, culminating in the Battle of Sekigahara and the onset of the Edo period. Many significant castles, including Himeji Castle, were built during this time, with prominent Tokugawa family members residing in. In the latter part of the Edo period, the construction of castles slowed dramatically, as they no longer served their former defensive roles. The castles, symbols of Japan's feudal past, faced systematic destruction. From the hundreds that once existed, only about 19 Tenshu remained, their stone walls too robust to dismantle entirely. Vestiges of these grand structures still dot Japan's landscape today, such as the remnants of Edo Castle that now serve as the imperial residence in Kyoto. By the time World War II arrived, the destruction of Japan's castles reached its zenith. Cities were ravaged, and most of the castles, Osaka, Hiroshima, and Fukuyama among them, were reduced to ruins. Yet, a miracle of preservation occurred. Himeji Castle stood among the mere dozen original castles that survived. The castle complex features 83 buildings, meticulously designed for defense, with surrounding towers, sama, from which samurai could shoot arrows, an intricate maze underneath that confounds even modern-day tourists, a series of protective moats, and much, much more. Himeji Castle, also known as the White Heron Castle for its graceful white exterior, began its construction in 1333, commissioned by Akamatsu Norimura. Throughout the centuries, the castle changed hands, eventually coming under the control of Toyotomi Hideyoshi. Every architectural feature served a defensive purpose, making Himeji one of Japan's largest and most fortified castles. Himeji Castle's design was a fortress builder's dream. Unlike other castles perched on steep mountains, Himeji was situated on Himeyama Hill, which provided multiple layers of defense, while allowing easy access to the region for governance. The castle's defensive ingenuity is further seen in its architectural features. The walls, which are up to 20 inches thick, contain stone-dropping windows, allowing defenders to rain stones on attackers below. Samurai could hide in designated warrior hiding sites, in the corners of the third floor of the main tenshu, ready to ambush intruders. Additionally, hidden shooting holes lined the walls, enabling defenders to shoot arrows or guns at attackers without exposing themselves. The castle was designed to be self-sufficient during a siege. In the basement of the main keep, rice and salt were stored alongside a well to ensure a steady water supply. Remarkably, despite its strategic importance, Himeji Castle was never attacked. Its reputation as an impenetrable stronghold, coupled with the authority of the Tokugawa shogunate, deterred potential invaders. Fast forward to World War II, when much of Japan's architectural heritage was devastated by bombings, Himeji Castle was heavily targeted, and its surrounding city was almost entirely destroyed. Yet, the castle survived. Locals camouflaged the castle to protect it, and even when a bomb fell on the grounds, it miraculously failed to detonate. Today, Himeji Castle stands as a symbol of Japan's feudal past and the resilience of its people. Its intricate design, strategic placement, and cultural mystique make it a treasure of Japanese history. It's no surprise that it was one of Japan's first UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Walking through its maze of pathways, admiring its towering keep, and standing before its ancient stone walls, you aren't just visiting a building. You're stepping into centuries of history, culture, and legends.